Hey, what's up, everyone? Brandon here,
Jacqueline.
and we are Love Like That podcast, Love Like That coaching, all that stuff. Anything in Love Like That, that's us.
That's
Anywho,
us.
yo, listen, real quick. It's not. It's I say real quick, but I know it's not. It's probably not, but we'll try to. We have been so busy trying to get stuff together. We've got like 5 or 6 different podcasts that I got to get out to the masses. We just finished up a premarital course for a fantastic couple, so we got them out there in the world, and we're in the middle of on our calendars. We have our calendars scheduled for a 5 week premarital course that we have for second sessions, and then
Group
we'll yeah group
style.
style that we have that on our calendars, and then we'll be looking for our third sessions probably around the end of February to get that started. So make sure you guys sign up for that for our third sessions, which will be coming out soon. There'll be a link for that eventually. But listen, we got a comment on one of our videos, and it was a really good question that was asked, and I figured, I could just type the answer, and that's just fine. But I figured it would be it would be great to actually make a video for everybody about this, and so I thought that was it made more sense to do that. So the question was from Around the Way Girl 88, and in it she asked a question, or he or she, well, actually, it's she, Around the Way Girl, duh. She asked, how much time did you all spend on working on yourselves individually prior to being married? What did it look like? Was there ever a point where you were younger and single where you decided that you were going to work on yourselves? How much time did you spend on yourselves now as married individuals? What do you do now? How do you work on being a better spouse? What does that encompass or look like? Um, it's a really good question, really great question. So thank you, Way Girl 88. Um, so I would say I probably need to lead off with this.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
Brand. Yeah, he's gonna lead off because he's done some work. That's why he's such a dynamic man.
Lord. Thank you, babe. I would say, I mean, yeah, I would say I definitely did a lot of work, uh, especially in my 20s. My 20s was a lot of the do the work years. I wasn't a broken person or anything like that, though, but I knew in order to be the man that I needed to be, that I wanted to be, and just the person I wanted to be, there were things I was just going to have to learn and unlearn. Uh, and I think a lot of that is just self awareness. I was fortunate enough to have self awareness that I needed to be aware of other things, and so that was important for me um, personally. And then a lot of the self work that happened was when we were apart. I think when we were together, I think it was like, oh, we're here, we're here, we're here,
Right.
and then when we weren't, it's like, dang, this sucks. Okay, so all right, what do I have to learn? What do I have to do? So a lot of self work was just me just understanding how to be just a better person, but then also, what do I need to do as far as being the man I need to be for my future spouse, which eventually ended up being her. What type of security do I need to provide? What type of emotional security do I need to provide? How do I need to be a better person for myself? How do I need to stand up for myself? Because how are you respectful of the other person? How are you able to get that respect? And so those are all things that I worked on. I worked on how to just become a person who is a creator and not just a receiver of things. Not whatever life just gives me, I just take it. Whatever the case is, I had to learn how to shift and how to actually create life for myself instead of
Mm-hmm.
just being reactive. I had to learn to be proactive, things of that nature. I think because of those things, they've helped out in a lot of ways in our marriage because, you know, when you're going through the ins and outs of marriage, things can happen. But to know how to handle those things, handle the pressures that come with just being a spouse, being responsible for another person, and and them being responsible for you, and how do you guys mesh all those things together?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was really those areas of me, growing in my 20s was really important because the person who I was at 22 was nowhere near the person I was at 25. And the person I was at 28 when we got married was nowhere near the person I was at 25 and 22. I mean, so much happened in those years. And all of it was very, some of it was unintentional, but a lot of it was intentional. The work was intentional. I had
Yeah.
to learn how to, I had to learn how to deal with pressure, how to deal with stress, how to not let stress get to you, how to know how to remain calm in certain situations. Because and just as me as a husband, or just me as her husband, I just know I can I can have my emotions. I can express myself at the same time. Though I know because if I panic, everybody panics because she panics a lot.
She panics.
She panics a lot.
Somebody has to remain calm around this.
And so yeah, I could be panicking all inside, but I can't I know that I have to set the I have to set the tone. So for me, it's if I remain calm, then they'll remain calm because she sees that I'm being calm. And so stuff like that. So I had to work on that in in my early 20s because you would get stressed, get mad, get angry about certain things, whatever the case is, and you just it was a lot that I had to deal with this understanding how to not just exist, but how to live and how to thrive. That's what I
Yes,
had to learn how to do.
that's it.
Because so many of us are in a have a struggle mentality, have grown up with a struggle mindset. We don't know how
Mhm.
to switch over from the struggle because that's what our parents had to do, or may not have had to have done, and to switch over from struggling or surviving to thriving.
Mm,
And so I had to learn how to do that switch early on.
yeah.
And so, but like I said, for me, I think yeah, doing work on yourself as an individual was really important. I mean, I think it's needed. I think it's necessary
Mhm.
um, before you can even think about being in a marriage because um, people say, okay, well, I need her to make me whole or I need him to make me whole. No, you should bring your whole self
To
to
the
the marriage.
relationship.
Right,
Right.
bring your whole self.
Right. Right.
um
Right.
we're not saying that you have to be a perfect self, but you have to be a whole self.
Right.
Our understanding that I think that was important. So a lot of the growth was happened for me before we got married, and I would say, and I'm speaking for my wife and she's going to speak for herself here, I would say a lot of the growth for her came during the marriage.
Yeah.
All right, this is where you take it away.
There we go. Take it away. So for me, like prior to, I would say there was self reflection in terms of just kind of because we've kind of been, going back and forth since I was 13 years old. Um, we've seen each other through a lot of seasons in life. So just really to kind of be prepared, you know, the conversation we had before, we kind of decided to go back in this direction. I didn't know it was going to go in that direction, but I knew in order to come back your way, there was some self-reflection that I had to do, and the parts that I played um in the relationship. I couldn't come back and be that same Jacqueline, from college or Jacqueline from, straight after, college or just all of these different phases. I had to intentionally really try to be the best version of myself because I knew that's what you deserved. Um, no, seriously. So, really, just the self reflection in terms of, hey, we've been going all around the world. We've been playing this game back and forth, make up, break up.
Hmm.
And, this time is serious and it's intentional. So, for me, I had to kind of check some of those things at the door, some of that, spoiled mentality, a little bit of selfishness, just getting prepped up for you.
Yeah.
And in marriage, like he said, that's when the real work began because it really isn't, we're not practicing for the scenario anymore. We're here and we're in it and we have joined our lives together. And so I was having a conversation actually earlier today, like the purpose, or what I guess for us, what we should strive to it's a partnership to lighten the load for each other. So it shouldn't, how can I be a better wife to you, having those conversations, taking action when something is shared, not, necessarily being um, like you can't take just feedback um, as it relates to what we're doing right in a marriage, what we may have to work on in a marriage. I think just the constant conversation um, is kind of the work that we do. And also, just, I mean, for me personally, I can say at this point in life, it really is just praying. I mean, prayer and just
Yeah.
God make me everything He needs, not what I need, but everything He needs. So I really, that is a part of my prayer. Like, God, make me everything that I need to be for Him. So I think just kind of, shedding that kind of selfishness and really just kind of focusing on like, this is a unit, this is a team. Like, how can I rise to the occasion? How can I, be his soft landing? How can I be his helpmate? How can I anticipate? Just really watching and trying to figure out where I can fit in to make life easier for you.
No,
So
thank you. Get in where you fit in.
get in where you fit in. Get in
No.
where you fit in.
So I'll say this. The other part, I think the part that I had to work on for me is knowing how to, like I said, controlling emotions. Controlling emotions. I think that was something that I was important for me before we got married. I would just, here's the thing. Okay, I worked on myself for myself. She was icing on the cake, but it was for myself because I need to be able to be good with me for the rest of my life. I need to know that I was okay, that I was going to be a functioning adult who could actually uh, deal with whatever was coming my way, and I actually knew how to maneuver and how to do things how to move accordingly, and to do things the proper manner. So that was number one. And then the other part I would say is the part that I've worked on, the part of working on ourselves since we've been married, I would say is really patience. Patience is key because I think you want somebody to get something immediately and they don't, and then it aggravates you to no end.
Absolutely.
And that's 9 times out of 10 that's her being aggravated because patience,
Yes.
wherever the case is, and as she feels like I'm the most patient person in the world, I've had to work on that.
Yeah.
I had to work on that for so long. But even in that though, I still work. There are times where she may not be patient with me, or may not be patient with her. But we have to. If marriage forces you to learn to work on patience, if you see it as an opportunity to grow, if you see it as a challenge instead of an opportunity, it's gonna be a problem. You just look at it. This is a challenge. Challenge. This is a challenge. This is a challenge. But you should say this is an opportunity for us to really figure this thing out, to grow through this. Don't go through it. Just grow through it. I know it's whatever, but it's really the truth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just grow through it, and
Right.
and I think so because when you are married, you are in a situation where you're with this person every day, not every kind of day, someone, but every day. And so your time to yourself, you may have it, but your time is not your own. It's you're together. You do have your individual time, but most of the time you're going to be with each other. So I would say individual work can happen, but it's really just kind of in that self reflection.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Self-reflection.
get up early in the morning, get your mind right, or late at night, or hey, you're in the middle of, during the work day or whatever the case is during lunch, you just kind of think back about certain things, and you just kind of you're putting the pieces together. As far as just yourself as an individual, I think people should always evaluate where they are, and not necessarily as a problem, but more so just this is where I am, and how can I shift this
Mm-hmm.
to be better, or how can I elevate this to be better?
Right.
Just depending on where you are in the trajectory of your life. So those that's really what we did. But no, like no, my 20s, I was doing a lot of work on myself because I just wanted to be happy. There were a lot of things in my life that were not happy at the time. Sad, but My 20s were awesome, but they were kind of sad at the same time. But for the most part, it was really awesome experience. Like I said, but I just did like a lot of work and a lot of growing through that, which helped me to become the person I needed to become. Because I think had I not have done the work to be to to be the person I need to be emotionally and from patient standpoint, and just from an elevation understanding, um, I don't know how this would have worked.
Right.
Wait,
It probably wouldn't have.
because I think, like I said, her growth like was definitely she did her growth in her 20s as well. You know, before when she was single, but then a lot of it came when we were married.
Right.
And so I think if I had not already been at a place where I could kind of understand certain things, I don't know how
We would have
peaceful
even
it
been
would have
able to
been together.
get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And so sometimes, I mean, in relationships, it may be, we are here, we are here because God said, this is what it should be. But we are also here because of the work that Brandon did. I mean, and that's the truth. The patience, the vision that he saw, when I'm running and, we have a analogy we're gonna put out there a little bit later.
they're gonna think I put some good Kool-Aid in your drink, girl.
We have an analogy we're gonna put out there later. It's funny, we just it all came together, but just because of the work and the patience and the vision that he had, and then when it clicked for me, it's kind of a hey, well, this is what we need to do to keep this train on, right, to be able to run with it and to be able to make it better. And I think that's just the biggest thing. It really is, how can we be better every day? Like, how can I, if I come up with some idea of, how to surprise you or be spontaneous, like it really is just about being better every day. And
yeah, I think that was part of it. But then also, I mean, there are going to be mistakes that are made, individually, before you're married, and you pray to God not after you're married. But not everybody's gonna be perfect. But you learn from those.
There'll be mistakes. Yeah. It's just what are those?
What are the mistakes? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be specific.
Yeah.
Those mistakes.
We're not talking about we out here just being whatever. We out here in the streets or whatever. But I just think just understanding it's trial and error. So we had a couple who asked us how did you learn how to how did you all practice? How do you practice working on being certain ways with each other, whatever the case is? Like the magic is in the doing. It's not a practice. It's not a hey babe, let's practice this. Let's practice this argument and let's see how you do. We don't that it doesn't work like that. I was telling him, I said life is going to give you plenty of beautiful opportunities to do the practice, and the practice will be the real life. Yeah. And so, like I said, that's just part of it, but it's really, it's really working on it.
It's essentially in that, when you can come together and practice those tools, when when you want to be petty and you choose not to, that's, the practice of just giving out essentially what you want back. Like, for me, if you want grace, so you give grace. You want forgiveness, so you give forgiveness, So I think it's when you get in those situations, just practicing, not letting our emotions take over, and practicing what it should really be.
Yeah, exactly what she said, times a million. No, but seriously, it's what you want it to be, double times, triple times, what you want it to be. So yeah, for me, like my, early on, I had to learn. He who angers you controls you. So I'm not gonna give anybody that much control over my life. I'm not gonna allow you to anger me or to get to me. And so it's different though when you're dealing with a spouse, because your spouse knows all they know everything about you. You care so much about them. So, but you try. So because of that, you try not to anger them because you don't want them to be, you don't want them to be angry. You don't want to get angered as well. But I think early on, just understanding, you have more control over your life than what you can really imagine. You have more control over your life than you could ever imagine. I try to tell that to people. You have the ability to create whatever it is that you want for yourself. And once you understand that, then you can start doing the work on yourself to actually be the person that you want to be, to create the life that you want to create, and to really work on the marriage that you want to create. It takes two people. So if two people are able to really get that on the same wavelength, it makes it easier. And we are at 21, almost 21 minutes. I told you, I said I wanted to be real quick, but I already knew it wasn't.
This guy.
She's a long talker. I can explain in detail, but this is the one she goes. But anyway,
drop in the comments who did more talking today, guys.
I would say it's probably about 50. It was 50-50.
It was not. It was Brandon.
Okay.
But it was great words of wisdom for while we're at the 21-minute mark. But that just shows you we care. I'm telling you, we care. We want to know.
We want to talk that much. We care.
Exactly. We want to know what your questions are. We want to see how we can help.
So Around the Way Girl 88, hopefully that answered your question.
Send us another one.
Yeah. Shoot. Inbox us. Email us at lovelikeThatLLC@gmail.com. And yeah, we will look forward to give us your feedback. Anybody that's watching this video, give us your feedback on what you think about what we discussed here. Or what it was for you. For the viewers out there, what did you work on individually before you got married, and what have you been working on since you've been married? How does that look like for you all? So like I said, I think this is really good. I think we kind of went around the world, and came back, and we did it. And all right, yeah, exactly. So we're right at 22. So we're gonna end it. So Brandon signing off, Jackie signing off.
Bye, guys.